This program is brought to you by the Genesis Communications Network, a world leader in talk radio since 1998. Visit GCNlive.com today.
Broadcasting and streaming live all across America. This is Home Talk USA with Michael King, where we will discuss topics pertaining to your home with industry-leading experts. Michael King is a licensed general contractor with more than 30 years of experience in home improvements and the author of Contracting with the King. Join us this hour for our segment Invent America with your co-host, the inventor lady, Rita Crompton. Discover what's next in the home improvement industry and explore new products and innovations. Or if you have that next great big idea, learn what it takes to bring your invention to the world. As Michael King and Rita Crompton talk to America's inventors and innovators. Remember, the America of tomorrow is being invented today. We invite you to visit us at HomeTalkUSA.com. One of the best resources for home improvement information around today. Your best life begins with your best home, and there's no place like Home Talk. That's HomeTalkUSA.com. And now, we proudly present Invent America from the #1 home improvement radio program in the country, Home Talk USA, with your host, the Cajun contractor, Michael King, and his co-host, the inventor lady, Rita Crompton.
Yay! Welcome, America! I want to welcome all of the Home Talk USA radio audience that's now jumping over to this hour as we talk to inventors all across the USA, along with my co-host, the inventor lady herself, Miss Rita Crompton. Again, we want to welcome all of you. Don't forget, we are streaming live on the World Wide Web at the Genesis Communication Radio Network at GCNlive.com. Also, I want to thank all of the tweets and all of the emails that's been responding to our segment, the Invent America Show, which is part of the Home Talk USA family now. Want to know also when we are live, when I'm behind the famous Golden Hammer microphone along with my co-hosts. It's basically at 4 o'clock Central Time every Saturday on the Genesis Communication Radio Network with all our 61 radio affiliates all across the country. That's when we live. That's when we are here in the studio. Now, this show is broadcast at different times by different radio stations across America at different times. But you can also go to our archive page at HomeTalkUSA.com where we download the show. So it's always available to you 24/7, 365. You can also catch it on the Inventor Ladies website. And if you want to catch the archive. So there's a whole bunch of ways to catch the show. All right, I got that business out the way, and now I'd like to welcome my sidekick, the inventor lady herself, Miss Rita Crompton. Hey, Miss Rita, how you doing?
I am fine, Michael, and it is so fun to be here. I want to add just a little bit. It is amazing to me how often, because I watch my phone on Saturday afternoon, someone will call me, and I'll say, how did you hear about me? They're like, I'm listening to you on the radio right now. So it is really fun when it's like, we're reaching out and really touching all of those inventors out there who just aren't sure what to do next, and we can give them that inspiration to take the next right step.
Well, what I want to also mention, Rita, is that, due to apps and on-demand and social media, this show is available 24/7, 365. So if you have to listen to us through the online streaming services, you really need to go down to your local radio station. And you want to really jump on them. And why they're not carrying this show?
That's right.
It's like, okay, it's all about education, information. That's what we do here. But you need to really put a strong local presence and say, hey, we got to contact the Genesis Communication Radio Network, and we got to get, the Invent America show on, because it's just a good show. It's a lot of education, information, and I love this show topic, you're going to be talking about that first prototype, which is it sets the stage to everything that we're talking about, right?
Well, that's not yes, it does. It sets the stage. But what we're talking about today is, that hard topic for inventors. It's like, where's the money?
Yeah.
And so, I get the inventors will call me up and they'll say, well, I want to get an angel investor. How do I do that? It's like, that's kind of an oxymoron. Those don't really exist anymore. And it's like, so what can we do? Where can I go to get funding? Funding for inventors is a really tricky animal. And so we're going to have a couple of different shows about that. Another big question is like, well, I'm going to get teed up and I'm going to go on Shark Tank. It's like, might not want to do that, Doesn't matter how expensive that suit is, the shark is still going to eat you. So what we're looking at today is, what are some of those basic options? Inventor, angel investor, maybe not. You might want to look back at those 3 F's. And the 3 F stands for friends, families, and other fools.
Yeah, other fools. That's right. But you know what? I could tell you, it's like buying a $5 stock. If you buy a $5, I call it penny stocks, but it's a $5 stock is what I call it. Every now and then, if you invest in a $5 stock, you're not going to go bankrupt. You're not going to jump off the cliff,
Yep.
But man, Rita, some of these $5 stocks actually hit. And boy, if you can get one to hit, it could financially secure you for the rest of your life, especially if you have a good license deal,
Absolutely. And so what we're looking at, you look at it from kind of two sides. Are you the inventor or the investor? And so, investors are looking for certain things, and that's what we want to kind of talk about today. Is like, so if you approach someone, you've got the right pieces in place. Our first guest is going to be one of the 3 F's. He had a great experience. It was his dad. I'm going to let him tell more about that. But the other guest, Todd, he had a horrible experience with an angel investor. And that's where we came up with the idea that angels aren't really necessarily angels. But the inventor will be better prepared if they know which category they're looking at and what they need to take to each one.
Well, I want to back it up just for a second. Last night on the History Channel, I was late in the evening. They do, foods that made America, and they had a segment last night, the Peanut Butter Wars in 1920, and it reminded me because of a licensing deal that the original Peter Pan peanut butter had with that food company in Chicago, and they really could not go against the big Heinz company, because people remember Heinz, obviously think of Heinz as the ketchup, but they don't realize in the 20s, Heinz was the biggest peanut butter distributor in the U.S. So I bring that up because it kind of reminds what we're talking about. Here's this poor guy trying to fight big, Heinz, and so he got a licensing deal, because he came up with this creamy peanut butter that really was easy to spread on bread, where at the time Heinz was a rough, he would tear the bread up. But the point I'm trying to make is that, he knew he couldn't do it alone, so he went to a food company and picked up a licensing deal, and the rest is history, because Peter Pan became so huge that he ended up buying the food company. Yeah. So let's talk about that. And I know we're going to have our first guest, and I thought I'd drop that on because when they mentioned license deal, it got my attention, So, hey, we're going to take a short break. Got to pay some bills. Please visit our website at hometalkusa.com. You're listening to the Invent America part of our show here on the Genesis Communication Radio Network at GCNlive.com. Always support your local independent hardware stores and garden centers. And let's pledge to hire a vet today. I'm the Cajun man from the Bayou Land, the originator, not the duplicator. Please don't accept no substitutions. Man, I was green before green was even cool. Me and Rita Crompton, the Inventor is going to be right back. Yay!
Home Talk USA with Michael King. Do you have questions about your next home improvement project or home repairs? Now you can chat with verified home repair and home improvement experts in just minutes. Get the help you need by visiting HomeTalkUSA.com. One of the best resources for home improvement information around today. Your best life begins with your best home, and there's no place like Home Talk. That's HomeTalkUSA.com. And now, back to Invent America from the #1 home improvement radio program in the country. Home Talk USA with your host, the Cajun contractor Michael King, and his co-host, the Inventor lady, Rita Crompton.
All right, welcome back to the only home improvement show dedicated to you, the American consumer. Don't forget, we are streaming live on the World Wide Web at the Genesis Communication Radio Network at GCNlive.com. If you'd like to watch our television show, it's at HomeTalkTV.com, HomeTalkTV.com. And, all right, Rita, who we got on the show?
Well, our next guest is Todd Deetsch, and Todd invented NeckGuard. It's a revolutionary ergonomic safety device designed to reduce the neck strain for any contractor doing overhead work. And the reason he came up with it was because he was one of those guys that was doing, really dangerous and stressful, painful overhead work. So Todd came up with, NeckGuard, and whereas our first guest had the good experience of dealing with the 3F, Todd had the opposite experience of dealing with an investor, and we won't call them angels, will we, Todd?
No.
All right. Tell us about NeckGuard, and then we'll get into the difficult part.
Well, like you said, NeckGuard's a new ergonomic device designed for any contractor doing overhead work. I came up with this design because I work as a decorative artist, and I'm often required to do really painful overhead work like gold leaf in a ceiling or doing murals or doing some type of faux finish on the ceiling. So it's very painful work for any amount of time. And I've talked to painters who have been painting for 30 years, and they said the thing about overhead work is that you never get used to it. Like, you don't build up an endurance to it. And it actually gets worse as you get older because the discs start thinning in your neck, and you take longer to recover. And an injury when you're older can be detrimental to your career if it doesn't end it. So,
right. And the cool thing with NeckGuard is that you developed one that is for all of the electrical workers as well. So when you see somebody out there on, one of those big telephone pole stands, then you're thinking, oh, man, he really needs the NeckGuard.
It's very interesting because that was something that was totally unexpected. We found this cross-market in the electrical utility industry, and we met so many linemen and so many supervisors who were put out of a career because they were looking up. There's a spotter on the ground that looks up and is orchestrating everything. And these guys are looking up for 8 hours a day to make sure no one gets electrocuted or no one gets hurt, make sure they have the supplies they need. And we met people that had 2 and 3 surgeries. One guy, they laid him out in the lawn chair just to get him across the line to retirement. But he had 3 neck surgeries. And so everybody was very excited about this new product.
Yeah. So your experience, though, with your investor, and we'll leave the adjectives off, was not a good one. Tell us what happened.
Okay, so I have another product I developed called the PRO-PAP pillow. It's a side sleeper pillow for CPAP patients that are struggling with CPAP compliance. And I developed this out of my own need. So I won the Vote Award here in Louisville. It's a very prestigious business award. I won $15,000, and I caught the attention of this big shark who had taken all these companies here in Louisville Public. And so he really liked the idea, promised me $25,000. He said, I want you to run the company. I'm only buying 10%. But you're going to run it. You'll have access to all my expertise and everything. And I was like, great. Everybody was congratulating me in the business incubators, saying, you've hit a home run. This is phenomenal. You're teamed up with a great guy. And while he did buy only 10% of the company, he bought the A shares of the company, which were the voting shares, which meant that I had no voice. I owned 90% of a company that I had no say in. So it was like a bait and switch, and I was talking to a friend of mine who knew this guy. He was a businessman, and he said this investor was very skilled, and he had what was called ratchet clauses in the contract. And I didn't even know what those were. I had some friends who didn't even know what they were that were very skilled in business. But I found out that it's basically that he agrees to buy the stock at a certain price, certain amount of stock at a certain price. If the stock ends up going down, then I have to supply the remainder of the stock to make him whole again. And I was thinking, oh, my God, what have I gotten myself into? This is an absolute nightmare. So I did everything I could to get out of this contract, and I did, but he ended up sticking me with all the debt. And, this has been 10 years. I'm still fighting the consequences of that decision. So.
And that's why we joke about an angel investor becoming, a vulture. And, I know that people have had good experiences, but you've got to be so careful. So when I get an inventor and says, well, I'm going to go find an angel investor, it's like, slow down a little bit and let's take this, what are the options? Because it could be tough. I mean, you had a second experience that was bad.
Well, I did. This time I learned from my mistake, and this guy really likes NetGuard, wanted to invest in it, and he's got a lot of connections. I know we could do a great job, but he wanted a small percentage of the company too, wanted to sell the product, make a high commission, and I was like, that's great. Let's work it out. Well, now when he saw the potential of this thing, he started getting greedy, and now he wants 51%. And I said, there's no way. And he said, then go find someone else who will put up the money you need. And I told him, well, go find someone else who has an ARC-rated product like this that's proven to work and see how many people you come up with. So already we're starting to bicker, and, it only gets worse from here is my experience. So I passed on this, and so I'm looking at other sources.
Yep. Well, we'll get it licensed. This is one that I really believe in. So we're going to take a break for some commercials here and take care of our bills. And thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, Todd. Great guest. Thank you. We're going to take a short break. As the Inventor lady said, she's my backup plan, And we're going to take a short break. We come back and we're going to be wrapping up, me and Rita, the next segment, and we're going to be talking about some breaking news. So stay tuned right here on the Home Improvement Broadcasting Network. You are listening to the Invent America Show right here on the Home Improvement Broadcasting Network. Yay! We're going to be right back.